I still remember the exact moment, the exact words that broke me. It wasn't a doctor's warning, it wasn't even my reflection in the mirror. It was betrayal. I was 31 years old, sitting alone in my apartment in Columbus, Ohio, scrolling through my phone. I shouldn't have seen it, but I did. A group chat, the one with my so-called best friends, left open on my buddy's laptop when I borrowed it. They didn't know I'd see. They didn't know I'd read the messages where they laughed, where they joked about me, and the words that kept repeating in my head all night long. He's the fat one. Every group has one. My chest tightened like someone had crushed me from the inside. These were people I loved, people I'd defended. And in that moment, I realized that they weren't really my friends. They tolerated me. They pitied me. Or worse, they mocked me. I stared at my own body in the mirror that night, 376 pounds staring back at me. And I whispered to myself, if I can control my mind, truly control it, then my weight loss is only a matter of time. My name is Daniel Carter. I was born and raised in Dayton, Ohio, but at 31 I was living in Columbus, working as an IT specialist for a mid-sized insurance company. From the outside, my life looked fine. Steady paycheck, a small apartment, co-workers who liked me. But the truth? I was dying inside. I had been overweight since middle school. It started with after-school McDonald's runs, 32-ounce sodas, late-night frozen pizzas. By high school, I was already 250 pounds. By my mid-20s, I had crept into the 300s. By 30, my doctor told me my blood pressure was alarming, my cholesterol was borderline, and I was a breath away from type 2 diabetes. I laughed it off in the office, but I cried in the parking lot. Day-to-day life was exhausting. I got winded walking up one flight of stairs. I had to buy size 5XL shirts online because no store carried them. I avoided mirrors, avoided dating, avoided vacations because the thought of not fitting in a plane seat terrified me. Even family photos were torture. I always stood in the back, trying to hide half of myself behind someone else. And yet, I kept eating. Burgers, wings, late-night drive-thrus. Food was comfort, food was company, until that group chat, until betrayal ripped me open and something else, anger, maybe even justice, took root. Knife for me. Around 3 a.m, I opened my fridge. Inside was leftover pizza, Mountain Dew, half a tub of ice cream. For the first time in years, I didn't eat it. I shut the door, sat at my table, and just stared at my hands shaking on the wood. The next day, I made an appointment with my doctor, Dr. Jameson, who had been warning me for years. When I sat down in his office, he didn't sugarcoat it. He looked me straight in the eye and said, "Daniel, you're 376 pounds. Your BMI is 51. Your blood pressure is dangerously high. You're on the verge of diabetes. If you don't change now, you are headed toward a heart attack before 40. For once, I didn't laugh it off. I just nodded, and I told him, "I'm ready." He leaned forward, skeptical. I could see it in his face. He'd heard me say this before, but this time felt different even to me. I wasn't just afraid anymore. I was angry, humiliated, and determined. That night, I deleted the group chat from my phone. I blocked the guys who called themselves my friends, and I wrote one sentence on a sticky note, which I stuck to my bathroom mirror. Never again. But determination alone wasn't enough. I had no clue how to start, so I began small. I bought a cheap food scale from Walmart, a notebook, and a pen. On the first page, I wrote, Day 1, 376 pounds. And I logged every single thing I ate that day. It wasn't pretty. A sausage biscuit for breakfast, a double cheeseburger for lunch, wings for dinner, and soda all day long. Total calories, 4,200. No wonder I was where I was. The next morning, I stood in the kitchen staring at the notebook. Something about writing it down made it real. It wasn't just in my head anymore. It was on paper. And I knew from that moment that every choice mattered. That weekend, I walked into a Planet Fitness for the first time. My heart pounded harder from embarrassment than from exercise. Everyone looked fitter, younger, stronger. I felt like I didn't belong. but I paid the $10 membership fee and stepped onto a treadmill. I set it to 2 miles per hour, and I walked for 10 minutes. Sweat poured down my back. My shins hurt. My chest burned. But I walked. When I got back to my car, I sat there shaking, gasping for air, and I cried. But this time, the tears weren't only from shame, they were from something else. Maybe hope. The first few weeks were brutal. I was used to eating fast food twice a day, snacking on chips at night, drinking 3 cans of soda before lunch. Now I was forcing myself to cut back. I downloaded MyFitnessPal and set a daily calorie limit, 2,200. It felt impossible. The cravings hit me like waves. I would sit on the couch at 11 p.m., stomach growling, staring at Uber Eats on my phone, fighting with myself not to order Taco Bell. My body fought back too. Sore legs from walking, aching knees, hunger headaches. At work, my co-workers noticed I wasn't joining them for Pizza Fridays. They teased me at first. "Come on, Dan, 1 slice won't kill you." They didn't know how much 1 slice could wreck me. I smiled, shook my head, and ate my packed turkey sandwich in silence. I tracked everything in my notebook. Day 7, 372 pounds, 4 pounds gone. I almost didn't believe the scale. Day 14, 369. By the end of the first month, 365, 11 pounds down. It wasn't a miracle, but it was real. And for the first time in years, I felt like maybe I wasn't trapped forever. The gym was still intimidating. I stuck to the treadmill, walking a little longer each session. Sometimes 15 minutes, then 20. My shins would throb. My shirt soaked through with sweat, but I refused to quit. I told myself, and just finish this session, just make it to tomorrow. At night, I started a new routine. Before bed, I sat quietly for 5 minutes, wrote in my notebook, weight, food, exercise, and whispered to myself, "You're not the fat one. Not anymore." And quietly in the background, I added one more secret step to my mornings. Before breakfast, I started taking something, a little ritual I won't reveal just yet, that gave me surprising energy, sharper focus. I didn't know if it would last, but in those early days, it felt like a lifeline. Month 3 was when everything began to shift. I stepped on the scale one morning and saw 349, under 350 for the first time in years. I stared at the number, rubbed my eyes, stepped back on. Same result. And for the first time, I laughed out loud in my bathroom. Not bitter laughter, but joy. Around that time, I noticed something at work. I climbed the stairs to the 2nd floor, and I wasn't gasping for breath. I wasn't drenched in sweat. I just walked, like a normal person. It hit me so hard I had to sit down for a minute, smiling to myself. The gym became less terrifying, too. I ventured off the treadmill and tried the elliptical. 5 minutes felt like an hour at first, but slowly I got better. I even tried the weight machines, fumbling with the pins, pretending I knew what I was doing. And nobody laughed. In fact, one older guy nodded at me once and said, "Keep it up, man. You're doing great." That small encouragement meant the world. I also began meal prepping. Sundays became my reset day. I grilled chicken, chopped vegetables, portioned out rice, my fridge filled with containers ready for the week. It wasn't glamorous, but it kept me on track. No more last-minute drive-thrus. The mindset shift was real. I stopped thinking of this as a diet and started thinking of it as who I was becoming. I began writing affirmations in my notebook. Discipline over comfort, progress over perfection. Every morning I kept my little secret ritual. Before breakfast, I took something that made my energy feel almost limitless. And slowly I started believing in myself again. By the 6-month mark, I had lost 60 pounds. By 9 months, I hit 100 pounds down, 276 pounds staring back at me in the mirror. I bought new clothes because my old ones literally hung off me. The first time I pulled on a size XL shirt instead of 5XL, I stood in the dressing room and almost cried. I snapped a photo and sent it to my sister, Emily. She called me immediately, her voice cracking. "Danny, you look amazing. I'm so proud of you." Dr. Jameson couldn't believe it either. He flipped through my chart, smiling. "Your blood pressure is normal. Cholesterol is in range. And your blood sugar? No longer pre-diabetic. Daniel, you've added years to your life. The emotional victories were just as big." At my cousin's wedding, I danced. Not hiding in the corner, not sitting out. I actually danced. And people cheered, clapped, told me I looked incredible. For once, the attention didn't feel cruel. It felt earned. Then came the biggest milestone. One morning, a year and a half into my journey, I stepped on the scale. 226 pounds, exactly 150 pounds down from where I started. I stood there barefoot on the tile, shaking, staring at the number. 150 pounds. Gone. I whispered out loud, "You did it." And for the first time in my life, I believed it. Looking back now, I don't hate the man I used to be. I used to look at old photos and feel disgust, shame, regret. But now, I just feel compassion. That man was hurting. That man was lonely. That man didn't know how strong he really was. I learned something along the way. It's not about motivation. Motivation fades, discipline stays. It's about showing up when you don't want to, when nobody's watching, when it feels pointless. That's where change happens. I wrote down everything I did, every meal plan, every workout, every milestone, because I never want to forget what it took. I want to look back someday, maybe with kids of my own, and show them, this is what happens when you refuse to give up. Do I still struggle? Yes. Cravings don't vanish. Doubts creep in. But I know now that I can handle them. I know I'm not the fat one anymore. I'm just Daniel, stronger, healthier, and free. These days, my life looks completely different. I wake up early, lace up my shoes, and walk while the sun rises. Sometimes I jog, something I never thought I'd be able to do again. I meal prep without even thinking about it. I go hiking with my sister Emily and her kids. They ask me to chase them around the park, and I actually can. And I laugh the whole time. I travel now. I fit in airplane seats without anxiety. I smile in photos. I don't hide in the back anymore. I even help co-workers who are struggling with their health, sharing my story, cheering them on. I've become the encourager, not the burden. And those so-called friends who once called me the fat one. They reached out eventually. They saw my photos, my progress. They sent me messages like, "Bro, you look great. Let's hang out." But I never went back. Because some wounds don't need reopening. My circle is smaller now, but it's real, genuine, and that's worth more than any fake friendship. To anyone listening, to anyone struggling the way I did, I want to tell you something. Change is possible. No matter how far gone you feel, no matter how heavy the weight, physically or emotionally, you can rise. But it starts with one choice, one step, one moment where you say, never again. It won't be easy. You will cry. You will doubt yourself. You will fall. But if you keep getting back up, if you keep showing up, your life can change in ways you can't even imagine. So if you're listening right now, sitting in your car or lying awake at night feeling hopeless, hear me. You are not hopeless. You are stronger than you know. And if a man like me, 376 pounds, broken, betrayed, can find the strength to lose 150 pounds and rebuild his life, then so can you. I'll leave you with this. The scale is just a number. The real transformation is in your mind, in your heart, in the way you finally see yourself as worthy of health and happiness. That's what I found, and that's what I want for you. So don't wait for tomorrow. Start today. Start now. And never ever let anyone define you as the fat one, because you are so much more than that. And please, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more true transformation stories. For those serious about transforming their health, remember, lasting change starts with mastering your mind, eating smart, moving daily, and using the right proven supplements. Our website, weightlossspeech.com, is packed with science-backed diet plans, powerful workouts, and proven supplement tips to help you reach your goals faster.